Hey everybody, I am Indie Pride from Milk and Cookies Total War, and welcome back to Call of Warhammer Beginning of the End Times. The champions of Khorne and Nurgle are attacking an entrenched Empire alliance, eager as all followers of Chaos are to bestow their cruel mercies. We've got Skullcrushers of Khorne, riding demonic mechanical rhinos. They're one of my favorite units in Warhammer Fantasy, accompanied by the Bloodletters, lesser demons of Khorne with powerful scything blades, and behind them ride the Chaos Knights, towering mounted warriors with a thunderous charge, and a collection of Chaos Warriors, Halberdiers, Chaos Trolls, and Marauders in the front line to soak up all that withering skirmish and artillery fire from the Empire. The Empire vs. Chaos matchup is a very interesting one in this mod. I think it leans heavily in favor of the Empire in 1v1 scenarios on open maps where they can kind of abuse their ability to field many different units of cost-effective heavy cavalry without hitting the cap, but in 2v2s where you can combine forces and protect your flanks better. I think it's a much more even matchup, but with that said, we did give the Empire a fun disadvantage in this one, just because they're an overall more dangerous faction, and they have the advantage of being able to force their opponents to come to them with their extremely powerful artillery. The Empire defense is pretty formidable. You can see all that fire raining down from above. Those are the Bright Wizards, unleashing their flames on the mountain pass below, and they've got a great spot to do it from, overlooking the valley with some artillery support, the Hellstorm rocket batteries, and Empire mortars. And we've got some Carroburg Greatsword bodyguards and Halberdiers to push back any Chaos attacks. They managed to make it up the mountainside. Hellstorm rocket battery is opening up fire now, and those things are going to reap a terrible toll as the armies of the Ruinous Powers try to close into melee. So the game plan is, of course, as with any Chaos army, make it into melee with at least some semblance of an army still intact and alive, and then try to overpower these Middenheim and Reikland forces in melee combat. We've got Empire handgunners up front, Empire archers, spearmen in shield wall, Empire swords and swords of Ulrich, great swords on the left flank, and the powerful Demigryph Knights with lances will be a threat in the cavalry engagement. We'll have to work together to defeat them in combat. Knights Panther up front, beautiful looking models on them. Some more Knights Panther, and then the Tüdingen Guard, actually Knights of the White Wolf over here. More Bright Wizards on the ground, backing up the rest of the army. We got Empire Halberdiers, and on the right flank, some crossbowmen and more great swords. Also another unit of Demigryph Knights in the back, and the Reichsguard bodyguard for Karl Franz himself. So lots of powerful heavy cavalry, lots of decent infantry, and a lot of skirmish and artillery power for the Empire. So the Marauders and the Desolators are going to try to close into melee and just silence these guns as soon as possible. Khorne Chosen, this was the first time I'd ever seen it. They get mutated left feet when they get upgraded with their armor, which is a pretty nice touch. But the Bright Wizards are opening up fire now. Knights Panther are charging up the center, actually getting their charge blocked. And then the Bright Wizards are going to start unleashing their fire and probably do some decent friendly fire here. So they've actually done a lot of damage to our front lines. The Bright Wizards shoot insanely fast. They're a very expensive unit, but it can be kind of hard to make them cost effective because they cost so much. I believe they're around 10,000 gold. We're playing between 40 and 50,000 gold crowns in this game. Marauder Desolators with their two-handed axes getting ready to charge into melee, and the Knights Panther again charging up the center into the Chosen Knights of Decay. Some serious friendly fire going off there. Did a lot of damage to the Nurgle Chosen, but did a lot of damage to the Knights Panther as well. Probably not a good trade there, and that is one of the problems with the lore of fire. It can be hard to control, and you can burn the crap out of your own guys and just turn them into ash, and that's exactly what happened there. Lots of friendly fire on the Knights Panther. Over on this side, Chaos Trolls engaging the Demigryph Knights alongside the Chaos Knights of Khorne. Should be an interesting engagement there. Not an easy one for the Demigryphs by any means, because the Nurgle Chaos Knights are also coming in to reinforce. Those Chosen Knights of Decay are going to be a serious threat in melee combat, especially if they get around the flank. And the Skullcrushers also charging in there as well. So Demigryphs might want to try to disengage. Front line is going to get beaten to crap by these Empire Spearmen. Marauders and Marauder Desolators are not good troops at all. Very low armor, but they can do a decent job of soaking up all that enemy fire, which is really what they're there for. They're very cheap. They're just used as meat shields. And now we have a gorgeous look as the entire forces of Chaos clash against the lines of the Empire. Faith, steel, and gunpowder, the only things that will keep the Empire soldiers in the fight against these foul demons from the warp and all of these crazy chaotic units. But lots of engagements going off now across the line. Chaos Halberds getting into melee combat. Demigryph Knights with Halberds charging through the center, actually dealing a lot of damage to those axe throwers, who are a very squishy target. Good target to go for. And now the Dragon Ogre is getting ready to be committed as well. Dragon Ogre model is a little goofy looking, but just remember that this is a decade-old mod. Some of the units are going to be really hard to pull off. And I mean, you guys have seen Call of Warhammer on my channel plenty of times before. You know that the vast majority of these models are just absolutely gorgeous. And this was a sight to behold. This looks so epic, seeing the Empire forces just hold against all of these chaotic units as they pour in. I'm trying to get my Bloodletters around the flank. We've gotten the Chosen Knights of Nurgle around the flank as well. And we will be trying to hammer and anvil and surround these Greatswords and Tüdingen Guard. The Cult of Ulrich getting into the mix of things with their huge Warhammers. They'll be doing a lot of damage in that fight. Should be able to kill many times their number in Marauders with those Warhammers. First unit of Demigryphs was just completely shut down, surrounded and destroyed by my Chaos Trolls and my Khorne Halberdiers, who made it into combat as well, painting the Mountain Pass red with blood, which is exactly how Khorne likes it. Blood for the Blood God, you guys know how it works. More Halberds pushing up now, and both of these Demigryphs were dealt with very well. Now, I did lose a lot of my Skullcrushers, only have 6 of them left, but to take out 2 full units of monstrous cavalry, which of course are a tier above pretty much any other cavalry unit in this game, it's probably worth it. The Chosen Knights of Nurgle are looking for some squishy targets, and those Bright Wizards will be a perfect chance, or perfect target to go for, and we're going to take that chance to charge in and destroy them. And our opponents are going to be smart enough to pull them away. Master Engineers with repeating rifles firing in, but those will die soon. And with the Bloodletters charging in, should be able to take out at least some of these Bright Wizards dying off the charge. A couple of them will be able to escape. And now I have put my Bloodletters into a bad position because the Demigryph Knights will be able to charge them with impunity. Only have the Chosen Knights in the back to reinforce them. The problem with that is Chosen Knights can't beat Demigryphs 1v1. So that is going to be a bad engagement in the back. We're going to be losing a lot of troops back there, and I'll just try to keep my Bloodletters somehow in the fight, but it will not be easy. We are cutting through these front lines relatively well, but the Great Swords and the Tüdingen Guard are holding. Empire Swordsmen in the back engaging the Bloodletters, and now the Chaos Knights engaging with the Demigryphs with Halberds. Bright Wizards using their alternate attack, which gives them, instead of the big AoE kind of spread attack, it will allow them to fire these very accurate fireballs straight through an enemy formation, and those can do an insane amount of damage. I'll try to catch that as they continue unleashing their fire, but these Bloodletters are in a bad spot. Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Demigryph Knights with Halberds and Great Swords cutting those demonic entities into little itty-bitty pieces, which, I mean, it's more blood, so I don't think Khorne minds too much. But here come the Dragon Ogres, one of the most ancient Warhammer races. They were there at the beginning when the Chaos Gods first made their pact with mortals on Earth, and those Dragon Ogres should do quite a number on those Demigryphs. I think they have like 7 or 8 HP. They have insane stats, and they function like cavalry, so with their massive charge bonus, they can do a crap load of damage. Remnants by Bloodletters still trying to do some kind of damage there, but not going too well for them, and the Chaos Knights are going to make these archers run for the hills. One of the problems with the Empire defensive position as the Empire General goes down is that the red line is pretty close behind their army, so if they start a mass rout here, there won't really be much of a chance for their units to rally, so they really need to make sure that stuff like their lord dying doesn't happen. One of them just went down. I think that was the Middenheim General. He is dead now, which is going to hurt Empire morale just a little bit, but they do have the War Altar of Sigmar to buff up leadership in a big AoE, which should help a lot. Nice shot from the Bright Wizards carrying through the Axe Throwers, and now the Karl Franz bodyguards, the Reichsguard, are moving up. They'll take some Axe Throws to the face, but won't mind too much because they have a shield block chance, great armor values, and multiple HP. But Gojira definitely needs to get them under control and get some nice hammer and anvils off. Speaking of nice hammer and anvils, look at those Dragon Ogres carrying straight into the back of the remnants of some great swords. Very nice charge from those. They are a terror on the battlefield. Chaos Trolls chasing off these Reichsguard Knights, and they are almost full strength, so it's weird to see such elite troops routing. That doesn't happen very often. I think they must have taken a Hell Cannon shot, which does give off a big morale penalty. So when you combine that with a scare from Chaos Trolls, that might be why they're running for the hills. But they are dangerously close to the red line. We'll try to keep an eye on that. Yeah, they're continuing to run now. And those Reikland Knights bodyguard are taking a beating from the Chaos Knights and from the Axe Lords. He stuck around way too long. Don't think he was paying too much attention. And now they're routing. And these Reikland Knights, look at how close they are to the red line. That's going to be a almost full-strength cavalry unit that is in danger of running away. The other Empire General going down to my Khorne Berzerkers, the Chosen of the Blood God, and those Reiksguard are gone. They are off the field. That is bad. You don't see that very often. It had to have been a combination of a Hell Cannon and the Chaos Trolls just scaring the piss out of them, but that is not good. That doesn't happen to Empire Cavalry very often. Usually, Empire has a distinct cavalry advantage against Chaos just because they can bring multiple units that don't hit that soft cap. You can bring Knights Panther, you can bring Knights of the White Wolf, you can bring many different kinds. And in this case, the Empire Cavalry has been shut down by the Followers of Khorne and Nurgle, and there's almost no cavalry left on the field. We just have a pile, a massive pile of broken and bloody bodies on the field. The Khorne and Nurgle forces have lost a ton, but the Empire have taken the worst end of these engagements for sure. Mass rout happening now, but this battle is not over yet because they have the mountainside. Remember that they still have those Bright Wizards, they still have the artillery pieces, and they still have some very elite units like the Carroburg Greatswords up top. Chaos Knights just butchering everything in their path as they try to run away. Chaos is having none of it. Everything is going to get dismembered, disemboweled, destroyed, killed, maimed, and burned as they attempt to run away. But there will be some Empire units that manage to get away, get to the top of the mountainside where they will have a very, very defensible position. You can see some Nurgle Halberdiers engaging the Reiksguard, which is not really where Reiksguard want to be because obviously halberds are great versus cavalry. They're going to poke through that armor very well with their armor piercing, and they will try to disengage, but still scary engagement for the remnants of those Empire forces. Got some Empire archers still firing in. Probably don't have too much ammo left. Should be able to rack up a decent amount of kills. But of course, Nurgle and Khorne, both known for their heavy armor and resistance to bodily injury, especially the Children of Nurgle. You can cut them open, you can cut off body parts, you can rip out their intestines, you can do whatever the hell you want to do with them, but oftentimes all you're going to get is Nurgle's rot and disease coursing through your own body. It takes some serious effort to finish off something like a Plague Bearer or Chosen of Decay. Dragon Ogre seeing off those Empire crossbowmen, making sure they don't come back anytime soon. Looks like those Empire archers might be out of ammo very soon. Remnants of the Demigryph Knights, remnants of the Empire cavalry forces making it to the top. And over on the other side, we have the artillery getting ready to fire in, but no good targets over here because there are Carroburg Greatswords and halberds engaging just a handful of the little bundles of joy called Nurglings, who are getting flamed on by the Bright Wizards from behind and engaged from the Greatswords and the Halberdiers from the front. But yeah, while those Nurglings might not have a good engagement on their hands over there, things are not looking good for the Empire. But remember, Bright Wizards are insane, and they might not be able to win this battle, but Bright Wizards can seriously cause some carnage like that. You just saw a whole swath of Nurglings get cut to pieces, turned into ash by those flames, and there will be some very nice opportunities for the Bright Wizard to unleash the Lore of Fire as we start moving up this pass, getting blobbed up in the narrow engagements on the mountainside. Rest of the infantry getting ready to charge up the hill. Chaos Trolls dealing with the remnants of some Empire Middenheim Halberdiers. And we're going to be engaging. We're sending up all of our Nurgle forces and Khorne forces very soon. It's going to be a long run for them though, so we'll take a quick break and then cut to the action. Welcome back. After the quick break, we've made it up the mountainside, and the Carroburg Greatswords are ready to make their last stand against my Chaos Berzerkers. Carroburg Greatswords are a famous regiment. About 700 years before this, they defended their homeland against the Count of Middenland, and they killed so many during that battle that they actually had their white uniforms stained red. So in a tribute to their ancestors' martial prowess, they have worn crimson ever since. And the Bright Wizards are about to unleash some devastating flame. Oh my god. Some devastating flame attacks. Just immolating an entire group of my Chaos Warriors. And that is what I love about Warhammer and this mod in general. Just turns everything up to 11. Absolutely glorious. Reikland and Middenland are not going to win this battle, but they're definitely not going down without a fight. Even more of my Chaos Warriors getting burned alive by that secondary fire. Chaos Knights are not having any of this. They have seen enough of their brothers burn to a crisp, so they are going to close down the Bright Wizards, and we are finally going to silence them forever and take the mountainside. Big charge coming in here. Gonna slice them up into little pieces, and there is actually one Reiksguard unit still alive. Dragon Ogre and melee as well. We should be able to kill these Bright Wizards very easily. They did a lot of damage this battle. Not sure how many kills they got, but those last couple shots were insane. Chaos Trolls in melee, Khorne Berzerkers in melee, Halberdiers, Demigryph Knights going down. Everything is going to be able to cut through the remnants of these Carroburg Greatswords, who again are not going to go down without a fight. They are a fantastic melee unit, but when they're dealing with Bloodletters and Chaos Trolls and the finest Khorne units, probably not the best engagement. But the Empire Mortar is actually getting some kills here too. Big blob of troops, and this is what I was talking about when they're fighting in the past up here. Very defensible position. Just one unit of Greatswords pretty much tying down all of our infantry at this point. Pretty epic battle. So I think if this was a more wide open map, it would have favored the Empire a bit more. And actually, I'm not sure that setting up their artillery up top was the best idea. I'm not even sure their mortars were able to fire. I know their Hellstorm rocket battery probably did a lot of damage. Bright Wizards did decent, but I think they would have maybe been better off not bringing 2 Bright Wizard units. It's just a lot of funds down the drain. I mean, you could bring like 5 Empire Swordsmen for the same price. That's probably a better trade. I think they have had more infantry on the main line. They would have been able to hold the line better and allow their artillery pieces to fire in for longer. And just the fact of where the Reikland artillery was placed meant that they couldn't fire the entire time. Once we ran past them, we weren't able to fire into the back of our lines once we were engaging the Empire lines on the floor below. So I think there were a couple positioning issues with what they did. They did have a funds disadvantage. I don't think this battle was inherently unfair because Empire, I played the matchup a lot. Empire is inherently a better faction than Chaos, but it was a really entertaining battle, and I thought those shots of both players, or both sides, the Chaos forces and the Empire forces, engaging in those big long lines was so epic looking. You can see the kills here now. Really even across the board, actually. I think most players in that game got roughly the same amount of kills. The only issue with the Empire in this game was losing so many of their cavalry units to nothing. Bright Wizards friendly firing the crap at the Knights, Panther, and the Reiksguard, just routing almost at full strength, really hurt them in the late game. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you all in the next video.